everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Have a Little Talk with Mickey. And I have a surprise. We have my man here. He's our surprise co-host this week. I can't say we weren't both busy, but he didn't have anything to do. So he asked if he could come along, and I was like, sure. You want to be my co-host? And he said, sure. So here we are. Before we get into today's topic, we missed last week, of course, and I missed y'all. But I just have a funny story about how my Thanksgiving went. While I'm talking, feel free to share your Thanksgiving stories and whatnot in the comments. But I actually had to work on Thanksgiving. I do security, and the site I was at was in Center City. So I got to watch the parade from the roof of the building, which is really cool. It was just me up there and two members of SWAT, so I was safe, needless to say. But there was a resident who locked herself out of her apartment. Now, this is not a site that I'm normally at, so I didn't know what to do. They also have a keyless system, so I really didn't know what to do. Definitely a fish out of water. But she's the type of person who, like, once she starts talking, she doesn't stop. So she is like constantly talking. She keeps telling me to contact this one guy from like the management office. Mind you, it's Thanksgiving. The management office is closed. And I told her, I was like, at first I was like, I don't think he's coming in. Like, it's Thanksgiving and it says that the office is closed. And she's like, well, he said he was coming in. So, I get a little anxious. So, I'm anxious. She won't stop talking. I don't know what to do. I'm freaking out. And I'm like, oh my God. Long story short, I got the lady back in her apartment, but she was giving me a hard time about it the entire time. Wouldn't stop talking. Kept telling me that this guy from the management office was coming in. She was convinced. That man did not come in. So that was that. Other than that, my Thanksgiving was great. Spent time with family, of course, like I hope most of y'all did. Yeah, I really enjoyed myself. Did you enjoy Thanksgiving?
I did.
So, we'll just go ahead and get into today's topic. If you saw the post earlier this week, or if you see the post now, our topic is mental health. I have 5 full pages of notes. Most of it is pretty memorized, but because I've just been going back to it multiple times. But we'll just go ahead and get into it. And since we have our lovely co-host, he'll of course be giving his input as well. So, I guess we'll start with no, 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 we're not gonna start with the word of prayer. So mental health, I feel like this topic, I feel like the timing is perfect for us, us to present this topic. We're right in the middle of the holiday season. We just celebrated Thanksgiving, Christmas is coming up, New Year's, things like that. And, we're expected to be happy, joyful, cheerful, thankful, add whatever to the list. But the truth is, like, life has been hard for, not just some of us, but all of us. We've been dealing with a lot in our personal lives. We got through the first bit of the pandemic. We thought it was only going to last 2 weeks. It lasted 2+ years. A lot of people lost a lot of things, experienced a lot of loss. Possessions, jobs, loved ones, a lot. And, loss of any kind can cause trauma. And you know, it's times like these, like the time of year that we're in right now, that kind of causes that grief and trauma to resurface or to come back to the surface. So yeah, it's something called, well, my best friend told me about something called seasonal affective disorder, or SAD for short. It's basically a technical term for seasonal depression. It can either be caused by like the weather, those seasons, or, you know, like the time of year, like we're in the holiday season right now. It can be affected by either one. I didn't get into that too much, but, you know, in your own time, just definitely look that up. It's something that people really do deal with. It is a real thing, whether you believe it or not. It's a real thing. And this time of year, it can really, it can bring that to the surface. Like I said, mental health is important to me. Hopefully it's important to all of you. I wish I could see y'all's comments, but my vision is terrible and my phone is so far away. Not even gonna lie to you right now. We're getting a new prescription soon, so yeah. But I'm gonna look later and respond. I promise you. But yeah, that's today's topic: mental health. I am gonna pivot a little bit because I'm not by myself. So, man of God. Well, when I did have co-hosts, I would tell them I would ask them like how they know me, but everybody already knows that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they already know how you know me, so we don't have to worry about that.
Not at all.
But I guess I'll ask, before we get into like all of this, what are your thoughts on mental health?
Mental health is very important. Mental health, whether you believe it or not, it governs how you interact with others. It governs how you handle or how you dictate your daily.
Mm-hmm.
So if you are, you know, if depression hits, your day might not be full of happy, full of laughs, full of anything. I mean, unless you learned or mastered the art of, you know, doing things while depressed. But, you know, if depression's new to you, like, you're not gonna know what to do. So again, that mental health, your personal mental health, it really dictates the way you live and govern how you go through your life. You know, and at any given moment, something can happen, and it'll throw your whole day off if you're not dealing with it head on. Like you definitely have to make sure like you take time to, you know, steal away, so to speak, to give yourself time to reflect on anything that has happened. So
yeah.
What else you have? Something about?
No, it's fine. It's fine. We'll just be like, I'll just keep doing the same thing. I'll just share what's here, and then we'll just have a dialogue about it. So yeah, we have plenty of time. So, all right. So I'm just gonna start getting into my notes. So our mind is like our personal HQ or headquarters. It controls our emotions. Who?
Tamina.
Oh, hey Tamina. Our mind is like our personal HQ. It controls our thoughts, emotions, decisions, and actions. We can't function successfully without a healthy mind. So we can function like you. What?
That's good.
Oh, I did. This is all me. This is all me. Don't pay him no mind. He's
I
my
say go ahead.
just right. So so like Mike said, you can function, and like what I thought of when you said it, like some people are like high functioning, like they can still function with depression, still function with anxiety, things like that, which is not good. Please don't do that. I don't recommend it. But it's almost like you're operating on autopilot. So yeah, you can function with it, but you can't function successfully with it.
It's like, sorry.
No,
it's
go
like
ahead.
being a functional alcoholic.
Yeah.
Like you're thriving. You're getting up every day, going to work. You're, engaging, fully coming off of a whole fifth of whatever.
Oh, okay. Off a whole bender. You just got late in the car.
You done took a whole bottle of rosé, 10 glasses the night before, wake up, boom, hit work like nothing ever happened.
Like it's nothing. High functioning. So it's possible, but at least when it comes to mental health, I feel as though it's better. Like you'll function better, more successfully when you don't have all of that like weighing you down or in the back of your mind, whatever your issue may be. And we're gonna touch on a few in a little bit. But yeah, we'll just keep plowing for now. The importance of mental health is being talked about more these days, but unfortunately, there are still a lot of people neglecting theirs. It could be because they've been the same way for so long that they're used to it. Maybe they're unaware that they even need help or that they have an issue, or maybe they think they can handle their own mental health on their own. If you who are listening find yourself fitting into any of these categories and you stumbled upon this podcast, then I've got something for you. And if you don't find yourself in any of these categories, just keep listening. I might come down your route. So we'll start with...
Hey, Sam!
Oh, hey, Sam!
My boss is on.
Hey! That is great. See, I tagged you in this, so, because, I knew you was going to be on, so. Cool. Okay. So, we'll start with the people who are set in their ways, the people who have been a certain way for so long. What did I say? They've been this way for so long. Yes, they've been this way for so long that they're used to it. These are normally the people who are like, well, that's just how I am. I've always been this way. They say something along those lines. Just because you've been that way for so long, it's never too late to change. It doesn't matter how old you are. It doesn't matter how long you've been in that state. It doesn't matter. It's never too late to change. And most of those people who have been that way for so long, for the most part, have probably had the same kind of people around them as well. People who they either tried to like help or suggest things, and they were just kind of dismissed and they gave up, or they don't care enough to say anything to you or to correct you. Either one, like, they're not people that you need around. If you have mental health issues and you have them, like, it's not, sorry, they're being noisy a little. But either way, those can change too. So, the people, if you have people around you who they don't challenge you to be better for whatever reason, yeah, they can change.
Christina Mychal, she told you to preach. Christine.
Oh, thank you.
Christina.
Oh.
She told you to preach.
Thank you. So, the problem is what you lack is accountability, and it's caused you to become complacent. mental health is not, it's not the taboo topic that it used to be. Like I said, it's being talked about more often. It's become like the whole stigma around mental health is not, it's not what it used to be. Like, we're now recognizing, hey, this is a problem. Like, this is not normal.
It's almost like your physical health. If you can notice when you're, getting heavier, you should also be able to recognize when your mental state of mind is becoming heavier as well.
For sure.
Like letting too many things pile on top of you, like work, family, if you belong to any faith system, those people, or however, whatever role you play in that faith system, the things that come along with that, just the pile on and the pile on. Mm-hmm. You should be able to, if you can, feel that, hey, I ate too many whatevers, you should also be able to be like, you know what? This isn't, how I'm thinking isn't right. Mm-hmm. Like, hoping someone, hurts themselves, that's not okay. And when you have so many of these thoughts, you should be wondering, like, hey, something isn't right. Or when you find yourself snickering at, like, sinister things, like, that's when you should be like, you know what, I'm not okay.
Yeah, something's not right.
Or wanting to go, like, you know what, I should go and I should definitely take a handful of someone else's prescription.
Yeah.
Along with some Jack Daniels. No, I don't think you're going to do that. That's when you should be able to, you know what, I'm going to seek help. Mm-hmm. Or, talk to somebody, get this off of me. Yeah. Like when you step on that scale and you know what, I wasn't this many pounds yesterday, I'm gonna go to a gym.
Get a chicken salad.
I'm sorry. A chicken salad?
It's a chicken salad. Have you seen the TikTok?
Not yet.
Sorry. I'm sorry. Now. I'm so sorry.
But those things, like, taking some time to evaluate. If you feel it in your body, like, you should take your mental health just as serious.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. Your mind is a part of your body.
A very important part.
One of the most important parts. It's like your heart. Like, if your mind is telling you that there's some built-in pressure in your heart, your mind is also telling you that there's some unresolved issues within your mind.
Yeah.
So,
yeah,
Pastor Darrell Roberts, bless you, you're on.
Hey! Nice.
I'm liking your comments.
Listen, I'm about to have you on more often. I don't think I had this many viewers last time. I can't, of course I can't see how many.
Well, you have, on me, it says 10.
Oh, wow. Okay. Listen, I might keep you around. Anyway. Where did I stop at? Okay. It's okay to admit that something is off and to seek help for it, even if you don't know exactly what it is. Keep losing my spot. Yeah. Even if you don't know exactly what the problem is, recognizing that you have a problem at all is the first step. And to me, it's the most important step. Because that's kind of, like, that's where it all starts. You don't have to stay the same way. Just because you've been a certain way for so long, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how old you are. It doesn't matter how long it's been. Like, it's never too late to get help. Never. You don't have to stay that way. Maybe you think it's normal because the people in your circle have the same issues. So it's common. I submit to you. Now, when this... No, listen. When this hit me...
Oh, she's about to go. She's about to lose it.
I'm not about to lose it. But I was at work writing this, and I said, "Oh, wait a minute. It was good. Sorry. Just because it's common, that doesn't mean it's normal. If you and everybody in your circle have the same issue, if you're all suffering from the same issue, first of all, like,
I think you can get a new circle.
Okay. Let's be honest.
Let's start like, right in there.
We could, yeah. It goes back to, like, what I said earlier. What was it? You lacking accountability. You and your entire circle. Like, seriously, none of y'all see a problem with it. Like, and whatever the it is, none of y'all have a problem with it. None of y'all see a problem with it. But if you all have the same issue, everyone needs to get help. And if everybody else doesn't want to get help, you can be the first. Like, you could be that example. Like, show them, like, hey, we don't have to, like, we don't have to be the mean girls. We don't have to be the catty men, because men can be catty too. You know, we don't all have to be, like, if we're all anxious, like, what good is that gonna do? If we're all depressed and, you know, considering self-harm or possibly even suicide, like, what good is that? Why would you want to be around somebody else like that? I know misery loves company, but come on. Like, come on. Like, I just thought of this analogy. So I read something, I'm always reading a BuzzFeed article, but they were saying, like, I was reading this one article about, like, tips, like smart tips that some people don't know. It says when someone is drowning, it's best not to jump in the water with them. Instead of jumping in the water with them, throw them like a life raft or something they can grab onto so you can pull them to safety. Because if you jump in with them, it's possible that you could also get hurt or possibly even die trying to save this person who's already drowning. So do both of y'all need to drown? No. So what I'm saying is, like, if you and your friend or you and your circle are dealing with the same issue, you be that example. You go and get help. Show them, like, hey, we don't have to stay this way. There's a way out of this.
That's crazy because in CPR they tell you that it's best when someone is in need of it to make sure the scene is safe before you give that person any kind of help. And the reason being is because you yourself cannot help someone if you are injured. And that's crazy that you said that. Like, I'm trying to save you, and I'm just going in, not assessing whether the scene is safe.
Exactly. And normally when somebody's drowning, they're like flailing, freaking out anyway. So again, if you jump in while somebody's flailing their arms around, like, God forbid and now you're knocked out, you can't even help them. So now both of y'all in trouble. Both of y'all sinking. And when it comes to my friend circles, I don't want to sink. If I'm already sinking, I don't want them making it worse. So luckily I have people around me who hold me accountable. And we don't sink together. One of us gotta be, one of us gotta help out.
That's right, Mom. Consider yourself first.
Yeah.
Your mom said that.
Oh, see? Yeah. They even tell us that. They say that on planes too. If you need to use your oxygen mask, put yours on first, then help somebody else. So, yeah. So moving on to the next category of people. Oh, Okay, I'm gonna keep my feet still. My foot got caught in a cord. Those who might be unaware that they even have like a mental health issue or that they need help, this next part is for you. So I like to do research, so I did a little research on a few different mental health conditions and a few of the symptoms, you know, what it might look like. I'm gonna put this disclaimer first. I'm not an expert.
We are not.
No, we're not experts. I'm just somebody who did her research, and yeah, I'm just somebody who did my research, and I just want to help. We just want to help. That's all. We're not trying to diagnose anybody. I'm just painting a picture of what it might look like, whatever condition that I'm gonna list, what it might look like.
Now I do know some experts.
Yeah.
So if you wanna, you know, inbox after you hear what you might, I know some experts. Dozen of them.
Yeah, we can point you in the right direction.
Our job is going to be the referral.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're going to refer up to the degree people.
Yeah.
In this area.
Yeah. Yeah. So, first is something that I deal with, anxiety. What that looks like is uncontrolled worry, constant stress, an inability to concentrate, expecting bad things to happen, being moody, or I didn't finish writing that. Sorry.
You got anxious. I'm just kidding.
I probably got distracted. That's what it was. It's supposed to say being moody or easily irritated. I believe that's what it was supposed to say. And also having panic attacks. I like to say that I battle with anxiety because that's exactly what it is, a battle. When it hits me, I always hit back. Oh my goodness. But yeah, it's a battle. And you know, I've had anxiety for a while. And I realized that in therapy, but we're gonna touch on therapy later. Yeah, anxiety is definitely not fun. Absolutely not fun. It's like you're constantly on edge. And just, you know, like I said, like you expect bad things to happen. You're like, oh my God, what is gonna happen? Oh my goodness. Like it's very it makes me very uncomfortable. And as far as panic attacks, I've had a few panic attacks in the past. I don't have many. I haven't had many, but those are scary. They can be from minute to severe to the point where like you're frozen. I had one, the first one I had, I was like, I thought God was gonna take me home. I was like, is this how I'm gonna go? Right now, right here in the bathroom? Like I was in the bathroom. I don't remember what I was doing or nothing, but I was just like, you ready for me now, God? Like it was crazy. It was crazy. But yeah. And then I think the last one I had was maybe like I don't even remember how long ago it was, but it wasn't as bad. Like I wasn't like frozen, but I did have to kind of step away. I think I was at work actually. I think it was when I worked in insomnia. Yeah. Yeah, raw places. But yeah, so that's kind of what anxiety looks like. It's a general idea of what anxiety looks like. It does show up differently in different people, so you never know. Like those are just a few signs of anxiety. Next, depression. What that may look like is a continuous low mood or sadness, feeling hopeless and helpless, feeling guilt-ridden, having no motivation or interest in things, and feeling tearful. Depression is something that I did deal with. I don't really deal with that too much anymore, but you know, it comes in waves, but you know, it's life. You know, I haven't accepted it. Like I'm in therapy, so I'm working on it. But yeah, that's what depression looks like. I know people who have depression. You know, and some people, like you mentioned earlier, people who are like high functioning. Some people are, you know, have high functioning depression. Unfortunately, they can still do their jobs. They can still, you know, go to work, go to church, be with their family, be with their friends. Like, more people deal with depression than you realize. It's not like we don't walk around with it like on our hats, like my hat says antisocial. It doesn't, you know, like we're not gonna walk around displaying it. Some people will just come out and say like, listen, I'm depressed. And you know, it's with this condition or any condition that I list, none of them are something to joke about. So if you're not really depressed, like, don't joke about it. And if someone comes to you and says that they're depressed, take it seriously. Like, I would take it seriously, because you never know. You never know when somebody is like at the end of their rope. You know, and some people do try to hide their depression. So I feel as though like if they've gotten to the point, what? No. Oh, I feel like if they gotten to the point where they're just flat out saying it, like, listen, I am depressed. Like, this is what I'm dealing with. This is what's on my mind. They're like, take it seriously. Because again, mental health is very important. Did you have something you wanted to add?
No.
Okay. Another condition I looked up is bipolar. What that looks like, again, being bipolar, it shows up differently in different people. I found that out in my research. But these are the more general or more common signs. Extreme mood swings, emotional highs to lows, manic episodes where you seem energetic, euphoric, or irritable, periods of unusually intense emotion, and changes in sleep patterns and activity levels. In my research, I kind of like, I'm not bipolar, but yeah, not bipolar, but it I don't know, in my research, I kind of like, it kind of like opened my eyes to bipolar, and like, I used to think that bipolar and schizophrenia was kind of like the same thing, but it's not. But yeah, it's, people can have like bipolar depression where, I didn't do much research on that, but because I wanted to keep them separate, if that makes sense. But yeah, the next one I looked up is schizophrenia. What that looks like is they can have hallucinations, meaning they hear, see, smell, or taste things that aren't actually there. They have delusions, which is having a strong belief that isn't true, or beliefs that aren't true, or may seem irrational to others. And also a thought disorder, which is ways of thinking that are unusual or illogical. People with schizophrenia also sometimes hear voices, voices that don't belong to them, like telling them to do things or to act a certain way, things like that. And again, it's nothing to play with. It's nothing to take lightly. It's nothing to joke about. These are real conditions that people have, and you never know. It could be the person you sit next to at church. It could be the person you work with Monday through Friday or whatever your schedule is. It could be the person you walk by on the street. Like, you just never know. The last condition that I looked up is PTSD. What that includes is, or entails, is having vivid flashbacks of traumatic events. It can cause intrusive thoughts. You can have nightmares, and also intense distress at real or symbolic reminders of trauma.
Can you tell them what PTSD is? Because somebody might not know.
Oh yeah. PTSD is an acronym for post-traumatic stress disorder. I went the wrong way. Post-traumatic stress disorder. it's basically when a traumatic event happens to you, and like whenever you're reminded of that event, it kind of like takes you back. A lot of times we hear of like military veterans having PTSD, people who fought in the war, people who people in the military, they see a lot of things, they experience a lot of things, but it's not just them. It could be anything traumatic that happened to you, that affected you and your life and the trajectory of your life. Actually, one of my best friends has PTSD, unfortunately. He manages very well, but they're like he purposefully avoids having to be reminded of that incident, and he also is in therapy and he's working on that. But yeah, PTSD, anyone can have it. And again, it shows up in different ways. Like when people are triggered, they can go into a whole like episode, or because again, it takes them back to that moment, and however they reacted in that moment, they become that person again. So yeah, it's,
you gotta be careful because it can be triggered by any amount of things. A sound, a song, mm-hmm. a smell, a taste,
mm-hmm.
a look.
Yep.
So some holiday themed things could cause people to have that.
Yep.
And you could be laughing in 1 minute, and then
next thing you know, they're breaking down, or cowering in fear, or they're in a trance, and because it just that quick, they were taken back to that moment, back to that time. And there are other mental health issues out there. I picked a few. If maybe we can do a part 2, I don't know, we'll see. And get into like actual conditions, things like that. But again, I'm not an expert or a professional, neither one of us are. I'm just someone who did their research. That's it. If after hearing all of that info, you're still unsure, or if you just flat out don't believe me, that's all the more reason to talk to someone who is a professional and find out for yourself. So moving on, to those who think they can handle their mental health issues on their own, I just have one question. How has that been working for you? Oh wait. Just honestly, like, how has that been working for you? Because as someone who didn't get help for a long time, it didn't work for me. Like, I noticed how it was affecting my relationships with others, like even my relationship with Mike and my friends, my family. It was literally affecting my life, and I knew I had to do something. I had to get some kind of help, and me trying to handle it on my own, it just was not working. So I'll just pose the same thing to you. Like, if you had the ability to conquer your mental health issues on your own, in your own strength, don't you think they'd be gone by now? Or at least you'd be making some kind of progress. And it's not to say that you're weak or that you can't handle it. It's just that, sorry. Yeah, it's not to say that you're weak. So again, take it from me, someone who is in the battle. Like, the burdens get heavy. Again, like Mike said, like, you notice when it comes to your physical health, you notice when you're getting a little heavy. You notice when you're uncomfortable. You notice when something is not the same. Same with your mental health. Like, those burdens get heavy. They get weighty. They weigh you down, and you start to see the effects of it. Like in how you're reacting to things, and how, if you isolate or anything like that, like you see it. So it's it's hard to handle it on your own because it's a lot.
Not to mention, if you can see it, there are other people that can also see and recognize when you're off.
Absolutely.
And when people ask you questions like, "Hey, you good?" Not just anybody, not just "Hey, how you doing?" Not one of them, but somebody who you consider to be close with you, or somebody in your inner circle will go to like out, not prompted, just a, "Hey, you good? Everything all right?" If you get asked that question about 10 times a day,
it's for a reason.
It's definitely for a reason. By probably the third person, you should be like, "Is everything okay?"
Right, like why do you keep, like me, I'm like, why do y'all keep asking me that? Like honestly, it would make me think, why do they keep asking me that? It would cause me to self-reflect.
And someone told me, if you can taste or smell your own breath and it not be to your liking, somebody else is smelling that same thing.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
9 times out of 10, you need to handle that.
Yeah. Take care of that.
Take care of it before you get offended by somebody offering you something to help you change that.
Yeah.
Like, "Hey, you want a piece of gum?" That's somebody telling you,
"Hey, I'm bored. Let's go take a shower."
That's somebody telling you, your breath isn't that okay.
Yeah.
I mean, it could be a number of reasons. Maybe you didn't, handle as much as you did the day before. Or maybe you had something to eat that,
didn't agree with you.
And you couldn't, get that out of there.
Yeah. Somebody's
trying to help you.
Yeah.
And so with your mental health, when someone sees you, especially someone who knows you, I'm not talking about some random off the street.
Yeah.
Although there are some randoms off the street who can kind of pick those things up.
For sure.
And be like, I don't think this person's okay. But, I have a perfect story. A couple years ago, I worked in a center, and I was functioning that day, but there was a lot on my mind. My brother had gotten stabbed. My godbrother had gotten stabbed the night before. We were just visiting him in the hospital, making sure he was good. There were some other things happening also, and I'm like, there's a lot happening. There's a lot happening, and I'm just like, because I didn't get the full story of how he had gotten stabbed. I just know I need to be at the hospital right away, and I didn't get any sleep, so I'm tired. And so I'm outside. I'm thinking I'm good. I'm playing with my children, and this lady who does not know me, like this was probably her second visit with another student. This student wasn't even in my class, and she was like, "Are you okay?" I'm all right. She's like, "Are you sure?" She's like, "Do you need a hug or something?" I'm like, I lost it, broke down crying outside in front of everybody, and I'm like, going to the door like, dude, you need to send somebody out here right now, because I'm like, again, this lady didn't know me. So, but she saw it. And again, inside mask, I'm thinking I'm okay.
Yeah.
I'm thinking that I can get through this day, then kind of get home and do that stuff. But people can see you. So when somebody's asking you a question like that, are you good or are you okay? Out of the sphere of a greeting, that's a kind of a tell sign, like, I'm not okay. And I've been holding on to this stuff for so long that somebody else is starting to see it.
Yep.
Somebody else is starting to notice my behavior, or they can see, like, I may smile, or I may be laughing, but there is something behind that.
Absolutely. Yeah. What time is it?
It is 7:45.
Oh, we are okay. Fine. Great.
No,
we're perfect.
Okay.
Yeah, we got this Facebook for 2 hours, but I didn't know how long we've been going so far. Okay, great. Where am I? Okay, yeah. Admitting that you need help and seeking it out does not make you weak. It actually takes strength and immense courage to face it all head on. Like I said, and like he said, like it's like Mike said, it's something you've been holding on to for a long time. Like, it reminds me of the song Bag Lady by Erykah Badu. Like, that whole song is an analogy about literally carrying baggage. She's like, bag lady,
you gonna miss your bus.
Yeah, you gonna hurt your back dragging all them bags like that. I guess nobody ever told you. Like, if you, like, look, in your own time, look at the lyrics to that song. And it's like, dang. Like, and then she suggests, so pack light. How can you pack light? Get some help. Get some help.
Start unpacking those things.
Let it go. That's in the lyrics too. Let it go.
Some stuff you don't have to take everywhere.
Listen, we didn't come to preach. However,
she didn't.
I didn't come to I didn't come to preach.
I've come to the conclusion that it's inside of me, and it's gonna come out somewhere.
This is my platform. I'm fine with this right here. This here. This is fine. Have a little talk. We gonna keep having these little talks, okay?
I'm not a minister.
Huh?
Your mom's a minister. Amen.
Child.
Anyway. Again, unpack.
Yes, unpack it.
Some stuff you ought to leave at home.
Yeah.
Some stuff you ought to leave at work. Some stuff you ought to leave where you get it.
Yes.
It doesn't have to come home with you. It doesn't have to go to work with you.
Yes. You don't have to carry it. You don't. I forgot what I was about to say, but we're just gonna come back here. The internal work requires deep digging, soul searching, and facing hard truths. And let me tell you, it is not for the weak. So just get that statement, that whole thought of like, oh, if I admit I need help, or if I tell them I'm suffering, that means I'm weak. That does not mean you're weak. Trust me. Like, it takes courage to even get to that point to where, like, you want to say something, because a lot of times with mental health you want to hide it. You don't really want other people to know. And like, growing up in church, you know, a lot of people, it was, again, mental health was stigmatized. Like, nothing against the old church, but we were taught to like dance over this stuff, or like, y'all just telling us to pray. Okay, I pray, but I'm still depressed. Like, okay, yes, by all means, cast your cares on him, for he cares for you. Absolutely, please do that. But there's nothing wrong with talking to someone as well. Because it's not, like, it's spiritual and natural. It affects both walks. Like, mental health it's real, and we gotta stop saying that it's just stop telling people they got demons. Some people do, but some people are just depressed. Some people have unresolved trauma. Some people are damaged. Like, everybody don't have a demon. Like, I know what a demon possessed person looks like and acts like. Okay, and I know what a depressed person looks like. It's two totally different things. Excuse me. Like, someone could be possessed with a demon, but they could also be schizophrenic. They saying they're hearing voices. Okay, and I'm not telling you not to pray. I'm not telling you not to seek God. Definitely do that, but like, you need help in the natural, in the spiritual, and in the natural. Okay, like, let's stop dancing over our issues, please. You know, like, let's stop. Sorry, that was rude. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do that. Sorry, I did, but I didn't. But cause, like, what are you looking at? Anyway, we gotta, like, we can't keep sweeping this stuff under the rug, because we are real people who have real issues. We deal with real life every single day.
And I feel like my bishop right now. I really do. If he sees this, I want him to watch this. If he sees it, I want him to know
sure
he's
will.
creeping up my back. But even in the Bible, since you brought it up,
yeah, let's go there.
There have been people in the Bible who suffered with mental illness and sought help. There's a man inside of the Bible. His name is Saul. And Saul,
man, this was messed up.
He was a king, and the Bible literally says that God gave him this spirit. And they sought after David, who was a skilled musician, to play these spirits away from him.
Yep.
I submit to you that, my friends, is mental. It's a mental instability.
Yes.
And he sought help.
He did.
He didn't just, wrestle with these. No. He sought help.
And the melodies that David played, they were therapeutic. That was his form of therapy. And there are different forms of therapy that we'll get into in a minute. We'll stick a pin in that. But yeah.
So, literally, and I get it. Even David himself, was, kind of dealing with something, and he danced out of his clothes. I get that, but we're not telling people to dance out of their clothes. We'll get to that in a minute too, but it's like, you have to understand, there's story after story in your Bible about how to deal with your mental health.
Yeah. It's
not just him alone. You have to, like she said, you have to do some work.
Yeah.
Here's another thing. If in fact, God put people in the earth to help those who have a mental instability, you should understand that He put them here to help you or help people.
I had the same thought. Yeah.
If He gave them the knowledge, he understands and he knows that there are going to be people who need it.
Yeah.
Case in point, there are treasures in earthen vessels, meaning us.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Like, that's not just for the church. He's placed a treasure of knowledge in us, and that we need to yield and get out to the people.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. So, my number one suggestion for anybody dealing with mental health issues is therapy. And like I just said, there are many different forms of therapy, especially since the pandemic. So there's in-person therapy where you literally sit down, like we're sitting down, and you talk to somebody. There is virtual therapy where you can either chat or like do a FaceTime with a therapist. You can talk on the phone. You can like text them. You can, look at them like I'm looking at y'all, like we're looking at y'all, excuse me. There's also self-guided therapy, which is what I just recently got into. When I first started therapy, it was online therapy. It worked best with my schedule. It was convenient, and my therapists were actually showing up. I had PTSD. That's not PTSD. It's just simple irritation. Okay, what had happened was when I got back into therapy, I was going to do online therapy. Okay, I had 2 sessions, and I had to change my therapist because the one that I had before, she's not on that platform anymore, so I had to find another therapist. Okay, fine. The therapist cancels on me. What do you mean? So I'm like, I switched to another therapist. Their schedule didn't work with mine, so I switched again. Finally found a therapist. I was like, oh, she's so nice. I'm so excited. I can't wait to meet with her. She cancels my appointment too. I said, you know what? With all this money I'm paying y'all weekly, you would think that the service would be better. And I'm not going to say like what the platform is. Well, I'm not going to say it here because I don't want to give them a bad rap, but I had enough. So I'm now doing self-guided therapy that way. And it's been great so far. Like, it's been really, really nice. It's been helpful. It helps me like, and I can show up for myself. If I don't show up for myself, that's on me. So I'm doing self-guided therapy, but I suggest finding what works best for you. Yeah.
This is my thought process. If you need to talk to someone, I suggest you talk to them, whether it be over the phone, through a camera, or in person. Texting, I'm not a fan of a text kind of therapy because it's not like it's not someone you are you have a rapport with. Like, when I text her, I can literally hear what she's saying.
Yeah, vice versa.
And vice versa. Like, I can read through an irritated text. I can read through a jovial one. I can, because we know each other.
Right.
But you don't know that therapist. Kind of sort of in the beginning, you don't know that therapist, and that therapist doesn't know you. So when you text something, like, they're not going to understand what you're saying in your voice, and then the lines can get blurred because if you can put all caps and not mean you literally be upset at something, but not at them. Like,
right.
So I suggest talking.
At least in the beginning.
At least in the beginning.
Yeah.
At least in the beginning. And then maybe once you guys have a rapport to where they understand like how you are and how you talk or whatever, then you can go into that text. But start off by, if it's your first time to be talking or sitting down with someone face to face, either Zoom, in person, or over the phone.
Yeah, that's a good suggestion. Yeah, and I mean, it might be out of your comfort zone, but listen, therapy in itself is gonna take you far out of your comfort zone. Like, you're gonna be touching on things. They're gonna be, like I said, it takes, you're gonna be digging deep, soul searching, touching things, sore subjects, things like that. That's all a part of therapy. That's what it is. We're gonna stop at, so a good therapist, they'll help you work through whatever issues you may have. And we talked about the different forms. So find what works for you. If after a while this whole self-guided therapy doesn't work for me, then guess what? I'm probably gonna go in person. Now that my schedule's a little more set, I'll be able to go in person. But yeah, find what works for you. And if the first therapist you find or the first outlet that you find doesn't work for you, like keep trying, keep searching, because you just, everybody's different, and just find something that will meet you where you are. Self-guided therapy. Okay, and if you're not quite ready for therapy, you can always start small. So you can find some kind of creative outlet. I'm a creative myself, so that's always that's always my second suggestion. So me, I'm a big journaler. I journal almost every day. You can get a journal, dance, paint, draw, sculpt, write a song, write a poem, write a whole book if you feel like it. That's what I did. That's basically how my first book came to be. I was trying to cope with a situation. Situations. What? That's literally how I came up with my first book. That was I'm a big writer. I like to journal. I like to write things out. That's one of the biggest ways. It's the most convenient way for me to get my feelings out, like in the moment, especially when they're really overwhelming. Another form is dance, but I'm not Chris Brown. I'm not about to just break out dancing in the street. They're gonna be looking at me like I'm crazy. Like I'm not gonna do that. But just somehow you need to find a way to get those thoughts and feelings out of you, because like we both said, like it gets heavy. It'll weigh you down. Like if you let it like bottle up, like you're literally like a bottle of soda that's been shaken and shaken and shaken, but no one has taken the cap off yet. Like it's like getting a soda out of a vending machine. Like hopefully you don't open it as soon as it comes out, because the old ones, they just fall straight down. They have ones now where it's more like guided, so it doesn't do too much, but you get my point. When you hold it all in, like I'm still working on that, but I think I've gotten better with it, with not holding everything in. I hope that I've gotten better with it. But when you hold it all in for so long, it builds up, and next thing you know, you're exploding. And mind you, everyone around you most likely doesn't even know, didn't even know that you were feeling these things, thinking these things, had these emotions all bottled up. And then when you explode, they're like, where is this coming from? I was, guilty, very much guilty. But I would suggest, okay.
No, I'm literally, it's the truth.
Yeah, it's the truth. I thought she was agreeing a little too much.
No, it's the truth.
Yeah.
Case in point. There's been times where I've been like, hey, you good?
I'm like,
Okay. If few days. Hey, you good?
Yep.
I mean, no, like for real. Like I'm not. Are you good? You sure you don't want to talk? You sure you don't need to let me know anything? Okay. Okay.
Next thing you know, we have a disagreement, and it's just like.
And I'm like,
Yeah.
but you could have let me know 2 weeks ago when I asked you if you were okay.
When he asked the first time. Yeah. But I recently, like probably in the last week or so, maybe week and a half, I've been working on just being more direct. Like just saying what I want, like saying what it is that I'm feeling, what it is that I want, like just and not being rude about it. Like I told him the other day, like I told him like I want to spend more quality time together. And I'm not talking about like when we go to sleep or when we come home from work and not like, no, intentional quality time. And I wasn't mean about it. I wasn't rude about it. I just said it. Like this is what it is. This is why. Just like that. Like if it's, I figured, like, I used to be so afraid of how people would react. And I was telling him this as well. Like, I used to always be so afraid of how people would react if I said this, if I told them this, or admitted this, whatever. I'm over that now. Like, listen, I'm going to say what I got to say. And however you feel, fine. We can talk about that too. But I'm going to get this out of me. I'm going to get this off my chest. Because it, like, me bottling it up, like, I'm not about to walk around like a freaking, like, pressurized can or nothing. Not anymore. Not anymore. Like, no, I'm getting it off my chest. I'm not carrying it. So.
I also wanted to submit this too. Like, some people don't explode, they implode.
Yes.
So yes. You begin to break down on the inside. Literally, things like your body will begin to shut down on you. Like, yes. You'll either have a heart attack or you panic attacks.
Yeah.
And literally end up in the hospital because you imploded. You held things in you for so long, like yes. it literally shut your body completely down.
Yeah. It's not worth it.
It's not worth it.
It's really not.
Like, it'll happen on the inside of you, like where no one can see it. And then you'll be in the hospital and they'll be like, you had a heart attack.
Yeah.
And you're 16, 17, 18, 19. Like, you're not even
in your prime yet.
Not even cardiac arrest age yet, which I don't know if there is one, but like, you're not even like in your 50s. Like, that's when most people have them now. Like, you used to have them. Like, most people would used to have them in their 50s, 60s.
Yeah.
But there are young people having them, and we're looking like, why? How did you end up in here?
Yeah. I'm not trying to go to no young person's funeral, all because, like, they wanted to hold stuff in. Yeah, I called it a funeral. It's a funeral. I'm not trying to. No, we're too young. Life is too short. Listen. It's my show. I call it a fume. People call it fumes, but y'all get my point. You get our point. The point is, it's not worth. It's not worth it. Like, mental health is very serious. It should be taken seriously. And even if you think it's small, like, listen, something's off. Something is off, and you should get help. Find some kind of outlet. Yeah. And for some, it is as simple as having a conversation with someone that you trust. Like, like I said, I'm speaking up now. I'm speaking up for myself now without fear of how someone's gonna react. Like, honestly, I feel as though if you truly love me, then you care about what's on my mind and what's on my heart. So even if you don't agree, you're still willing to hear me out. You're still willing to have that dialogue. And I know if nobody else, I definitely have that with Mike. So yeah. But it's all about what works for you. And like I said before, like when it comes to getting help, it's all about trial and error. Like you gotta find what works for you. Some people get it right the first time. Some people have to do some searching, like me. I switched therapists at least 5 times since starting therapy. Like since the very first time I've switched, and then in the last month I've switched too many times, which is why I just, I'm gonna save my coin, okay, for now. But I'm gonna find what works for me. For now, self-guided therapy is working for me, and I'm grateful. But it's all part of the journey, finding what works for you. Oh, that's next week.
Oh, that's next week.
Yeah, this is next week. I just started. Yeah. You want to say something?
I was. All these things are about, like she said, the whole what works for you piece.
Yes.
The word in the sentence is you. Y-O-U.
You.
You. The one that is dealing with the symptom.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever form of mental health, that person.
You.
Not your mom, not your dad, not your brother, not your coworker, not your boss, not your neighbor, not your significant other. You. Find what works for you. So if someone has a problem with you talking to someone, you might want to leave that person alone. If someone has a problem with you seeking help on how to get better, how to get better, then you might want to leave that person alone, because that person might just be the cause of your mental health. If not the cause, adding to the cause.
Yeah. And obviously they probably got issues of their own.
And I won't say that they don't love you, but they don't love you I'll say this. They don't love you. They love what you can do for them.
Mm-hmm. And
that, my friends, is a big difference. There is a difference between someone loving you and someone loving what you do for them.
Yeah. Some people benefit from your brokenness. And that's a problem.
And it is a problem, because they like the way you make them feel when you're broken or when you're down, because they're shining, they're thriving, they're getting stuff without having to do anything.
Yep. Because when you don't love yourself, this is kind of going into next week, but anyway, when you have those issues and you're not thinking clearly, you kind of, they take advantage of that. People were opportunists. They take advantage of that. They take that and manipulate. It's an opportunity for them to manipulate you. And once your thinking is back on track and your thinking is clear, you're not anxious anymore. You're not weighed down by anxiety, depression, PTSD, anything like that. You can think clear, and you're like, wait a minute, that's an issue. Don't let people benefit from your brokenness.
No. I think she's gonna come back next week for that. Yeah, I wanna come back for that.
Yes, definitely.
Not Mike. You should definitely come back for that. I recommend it. I recommend that you come back for that. I don't know if I'm going to be here now or not.
We'll see.
If I'm not here, I'll definitely be on the other side, pushing and,
doing what he does best. I keep losing my thought. I was gonna say something else that was good, but that's what it was. Sorry. When your judgment is clouded, you accept things that you normally wouldn't accept in your right mind. And when I say in your right mind, I'm not saying that you're like slow or anything like that, but when your judgment is clouded by anxiety, depression, all those things, your judgment is off. Like, you're not thinking clearly. So, and the people who do benefit from your brokenness, they can be a sense of comfort to you because you're dealing with so much, and when you talk to this person, you feel better, but only temporarily. Like, when you get professional help and you actually come out of that sunken place and you're thinking better, you'll look as those same people. Yeah. No, honestly, it'll be almost like that movie Get Out. Like, when I started healing, I looked at some of the people that I used to associate with when I was broken, and some of them I am disgusted by. Honestly, needless to say, I don't talk to them anymore. But I look at them now and I'm like, oh God, disgusted. Disgusted at them, and also disgusted at myself, because I can't say I knew better because I didn't, but it's wild. It's wild the things you accept when you're broken, and when you need healing, and when it's wild. It's wild. The next topic is healing, by the way. I don't normally reveal it, but that's the next topic. It's healing. I don't know why I'm on this wellness journey thing, or this wave of wellness, but I'm riding it. I'm riding the wave. So, yeah. Also, the days that we record might be will be changing soon. Just stay tuned. Look out for my updates and everything. But it's for a good reason. My work schedule is changing a little bit in a great way. Yeah, so we'll just have to do some adjusting, some moving around. This is still happening. I'm not gonna stop coming back weekly, but yeah, our next session is going to be on healing. Well, that's our next talk. It's gonna be on healing. I may or may not have a co-host. We'll see. But yeah, did you have anything else you wanted to add or say to the people?
Hit that like button. Smash that share button.
Yeah, by all means.
Share, like, tag.
Yeah, like, share, and tag.
Follow. All that stuff.
All that.
I mean, it's a must.
Yeah.
It's a must. You must do it. I'm not asking. I'm kind of demanding.
Oh, I was just gonna suggest it. What?
She can suggest. I'm gonna put a demand on you, to really support this, because there's not too many people offering this stuff.
Yeah.
For the low cost of free.
Listen, do it now while it is free, because you never know. You might look up in a year or two and I'll be charging for this. Or it'll be the goal. Well, that's not really a goal, but you never know. Soon this could be monetized. But I'm doing what I can with what I have right now. So, yeah. Thank you guys for joining me on Have a Little Talk. Yeah, you already know the topic for next week. It is healing. I'm working on that. Already been writing notes and things like that. If there's anything you would like to add or submit, or you want to give input either on this episode or the next one, feel free to, you know, put it here. My DMs are open, you know. If you have a way of getting in touch with me, you know, go for it. This is an open dialogue. The only reason I didn't like respond to comments is because my phone is so far away and I cannot see. I need a new prescription. But yeah, my prescription's old. But yeah, thank you all for joining us. I hope you all enjoy the rest of your night. I'm about to go get some food because I'm hungry. Yeah. See y'all next time.
Peace out.
Where's it? Oh, there it is.